in terms of dollars, $3 billion, $533 million, $525 million. That's peanuts for you.
Imagine a world where wealth knows no bounds. Imagine dropping $550 million on a yacht just to park your $3 million Bugatti inside, or casually tossing $450 million at a lost Leonardo da Vinci painting, only for it to vanish into thin air. This isn't fantasy. It's the staggering reality of the House of Saud, the Saudi royal family, commanding an earth-shattering 1.4 trillion fortune, 16 times that of the British monarchy. But they didn't just inherit an empire, they built one. From sand to skyscrapers, from oil wells to global dominance. Yet behind the shimmering skyscrapers, gold-plated palaces, and pet cheetahs lies a dynasty as complex as it is powerful. But how did a once-nomadic family ruling over a barren desert rise to control one of the world's greatest fortunes? To understand the House of Saud's staggering wealth, we have to rewind the clock, back to a time when their kingdom was nothing but endless dunes and warring tribes. This is the story of how they turned sand into gold and built an empire that reshaped the world. Smash that subscribe button, grab a drink, and strap in. This journey's about to blow your mind. It's 1744 in Diriyah, a quiet oasis in the heart of the Najd Desert. Mohammed bin Saud, a determined tribal leader, steps forward with a vision, uniting Arabia under one rule. His key to success? An alliance with Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, a preacher calling for a return to a strict and simple form of Islam. Wahhab's teachings reject lavish traditions and call for discipline, while Saud commands warriors ready to fight for this cause. In a modest mud brick mosque, their pact is sealed, setting the stage for a movement that will reshape the region. Muhammad's son, Abdulaziz, carries the mission forward. In 1773, after 3 years of relentless siege, he captures Riyadh, breaking through its mud walls. By 1802, his forces march into Taif, followed by Mecca in 1803, securing control over Islam's holiest cities. This isn't just political power, it's religious dominance, as 200,000 pilgrims now answer to the House of Saud. By 1811, the first Saudi state reaches its peak, with a thriving trade network stretching from Basra to Yemen, and an army of 10,000 cavalrymen feared across the region. But no empire rises without challenges. The Ottoman Sultan Mahmud II, ruling from Istanbul, sees the Wahhabi movement as a direct threat to his authority. Determined to crush it, he orders Muhammad Ali of Egypt to act. In 1811, a massive force of 40,000 troops, 200 cannons, and a naval blockade from Jeddah sets the stage for a brutal campaign. For 6 years, battle rages across the Arabian Peninsula, forts are destroyed, villages burn, and thousands perish. In 1813, 15,000 Wahhabi fighters fall in Al-Qunfuda. By 1818, the capital, Diriyah, is surrounded. After a grueling 6-month siege, with 8,000 people starving inside, Abdullah bin Saud surrenders. He is sent to Istanbul, executed in December 1818, and Diriyah is left in ruins. With 25,000 dead and the surviving Saudis exiled to Kuwait, the dynasty seems lost to history. But in the desert, nothing stays buried forever. Yet, from the ashes, they rise again. By 1823, Turki bin Abdullah, Muhammad's grandson, leads the exiles in a bold comeback. A master of both speech and strategy, he storms Riyadh in a daring night raid, slits the throat of the Ottoman governor, and re-establishes the second Saudi state, the Emirate of Najd. Over the next decade, from 1823 to 1834, Turkey rebuilds with vision. Taxes fund the construction of 50 forts, 200 Wahhabi schools churn out new generations of zealots, and trade flourishes with Bahrain, with 100 ships making yearly voyages. Through strategic marriages, he consolidates power with the Al-Sudairi and Shama tribes, creating lasting pacts. But even within his family, betrayal lurks, and in 1834, a cousin assassinates him mid-prayer in a mosque in Riyadh, leaving 5,000 mourners in grief. A brutal succession war follows, as sons like Khalid and Abdullah fight for power, weakening the state. But under Faisal bin Turki's rule from 1843 to 1865, order is restored. Faisal conquers Al-Hassa in 1850, adding 50,000 new subjects to the growing empire, but his death leaves the kingdom in chaos once again. By 1891, the Al-Rashids, with the backing of Ottoman gold, sack Riyadh, killing 3,000 and forcing the Saudis to flee once more. Then comes Abdulaziz ibn Saud, the titan of the dynasty. Born in 1875, Abdulaziz is only 15 when the Saudis are exiled. In Kuwait, he learns the art of war under Emir Mubarak, sharpening his skills in the 1897 Battle of Sarif, where he kills 20 foes. But it's on January 15th, 1902, that Abdulaziz makes his mark on history. Leading just 40 men, his brother Mohammed and cousin Jalui among them, he crosses 100 miles of unforgiving desert. By 2 a.m., they scale the towering walls of Riyadh's Al-Masmak fortress, storm the governor's chambers, and kill Ajlan in his bed. At dawn, the green flag flies above Riyadh as 2,000 loyal followers cheer their victory. Abdulaziz's power grows as he marries 22 times, fathering 45 sons and over 100 children. He forges alliances with powerful tribes like the Otaiba, who provide him with 10,000 warriors. With his Ikhwan, a fanatical army of 20,000 Wahhabi zealots, he embarks on a relentless campaign. In 1913, he conquers Al-Hassa, with 5,000 casualties. In 1921, the Rashids of Ha'il fall after heavy losses. By 1925, the Hashemites in Jeddah surrender after a year-long siege that leaves 10,000 starving. Finally, on January 8, 1932, Abdulaziz unites Najd, Hejaz, Asir, and the East, proclaiming the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. At 56, he is crowned king, and his sons, from Saud to Salman, are set to inherit this vast empire. A dynasty forged in grit, blood, and unyielding ambition, now turned to gold. Wait, we know you are still wondering, how do desert lords hit trillionaire status? It's oil, strategy, and global domination. In 1933, Abdulaziz, war broke, inks a deal with Standard Oil, $50,000 cash, 60-year lease. March 3, 1938. Damn, I'm well. Number 7 erupts. 266 billion barrels, 25% of Earth's oil. By 1944, Aramco's born, US majors pump, Saudis rake 50%. King Faisal's 1973 nationalization, post-OPEC embargo, hikes prices from $3 to $12 per barrel, makes Aramco Riyadh's ATM. Today, $2 trillion valuation, 10.5 million barrels daily, $300 billion revenue, $110 billion profit outstrips Apple's $99 billion, 2022. The House of Saud's fortune is nothing short of staggering, $1.4 trillion, a wealth so vast it feeds 15,000 royals. While King Salman's personal $18 billion and Prince Al Walid's $16.2 billion glitter like treasures, it's the 5,000 plus princes who share in this wealth, with the top dogs alone raking in $500 million each year. But oil is just the beginning. Enter the Public Investment Fund, PIF, the crown jewel of Crown Prince MBS's strategy, worth a colossal $800 billion, driving investments across the globe. In tech, Saudi Arabia isn't just dipping a toe, they're diving deep. They've backed Uber with $5 billion, invested $3.5 billion in Tesla, and placed $1 billion in Lucid Motors. With stakes in SoftBank's Vision Fund, Snapchat, and Twitter, the PIF is everywhere. In finance, the House of Saud's reach is undeniable. They own $1.5 billion of Citigroup, $1 billion of Goldman Sachs, and hold substantial shares in JP Morgan. In gaming, MBS is revolutionizing esports with acquisitions like 96% of SNK for $200 million and a whopping $430 million in Activision Blizzard. Their esports city in Riyadh, set to host 10,000 players, is turning heads in the gaming world. But that's just the start. Sports? They're shaking up the global stage. The PIF dropped $388 million to acquire Newcastle United in 2021, investing $100 million in James Maddison and another $50 million to upgrade the club. And then there's Ronaldo, the $600 million deal with Al Nassr for the world's highest-paid footballer, followed by Neymar, Benzema, Kante, and Sadio Mane, all flocking to the Saudi Pro League. The league's viewership up by 300%. In golf, the PIF pulled off the $1 billion LEIV Golf PGA merger, doling out $500 million to Phil Mickelson and $200 million to Dustin Johnson, and with a $50 million prize for the 2024 LIV finale.
أنا أعتقد أن أوروبا الجديدة هي الشرق الأوسط.
They're making waves. WWE has signed a $100 million per year deal, bringing 500,000 fans to 10 events. F1's Jeddah Grand Prix, that's $50 million per year. And let's not forget the Saudi Cup, where 1,000 horses race for a $20 million purse. Real estate is another jewel in their crown. They own iconic properties like the Shard, $1 billion, Heathrow, 20%, $2 billion, Harrods, $1.5 billion, and the legendary Plaza Hotel, $600 million. And they're not stopping there. The $1 trillion Neon project, spanning a jaw-dropping 26,500 square kilometers, aims to house 9 million people with a $50 billion solar plant. According to WikiLeaks, 2012, the royal family's yearly allowances total an astonishing $2 billion, with $270 million allocated monthly for 36 senior family members and $8,000 per month for 10,000 minors. The costs for lavish weddings run into the tens of millions, while their private jets are worth $5 million for trips to Davos. Then there's the monumental Aramco IPO of 2019, where just 5% of the company was sold for $29.4 billion, while 95% remains under Saudi control. Fast forward to 2023, and the Public Investment Fund, PIF, increases its stake in Aramco by 4%, a move worth an additional $80 billion, all in a bid to reach a $1 trillion valuation by 2025. This is wealth, not just built, but weaponized for global influence. Take MBS's Serene, a jaw-dropping $550 million yacht, stretching over 134 meters. Picture this: 12 opulent staterooms, silk tapestries draped alongside marble baths, and, just for kicks, a $5 million submarine capable of diving 100 meters. The ship also sports 2 helipads, a pool topped with a $2 million glass roof, and even a $10 million onboard Picasso in the art gallery. Talk about floating royalty. Or consider Pegasus, priced at $200 million. This yacht comes with $50,000 gold oil spa massages, a $1 million VR-powered gym, and a cinema rigged with a $500,000 sound system. Oh, and a $3 million wine cellar, because why not store 500 rare vintages when you're at sea? Then there's Kingdom 5KR, Al Walid's $325 million former Trump yacht. It has a disco with $2 million LED floors, a $5 million surgical suite, and fridges packed with $1 million worth of caviar. This yacht has 4 boats, but that's probably a drop in the ocean compared to its grandeur. On land, it gets even more absurd. MBS's Chateau Louis XIV cost $300 million. Imagine this: 54,000 square feet of living space, a moat filled with $1 million sturgeon, and not one, but two ballrooms. And an underwater meditation room priced at $10 million for those truly zen moments. Gold leaf doors? $2 million. iPhone-controlled fountains? $1 million. This place isn't a mansion. It's an entire universe of luxury. Then there's Salman's Al Yamama, a $500 million masterpiece where 100 chandeliers twinkle in a 10,000 square meter garden, with a $10 million throne room that likely outshines most palaces. And don't forget the private jets. MBS's Airbus A380, worth $450 million, comes with a concert hall and a Turkish bath, because of course it does. Al Walid's Boeing 747 features a $1 million prayer room and $2 million gold toilets. A fitting place to relax while sipping caviar. The car collection? MBS's $3 million Bugatti Chiron and $5.5 million Pagani Zonda Riviera are mere toys in this garage. Al Walid. His 300 cars include a $4.5 million Veneno Roadster, a $1.8 million Koenigsegg CCR, and a Rolls-Royce Phantom Drophead with gold trim. Seriously. When it comes to gifting, MBS has been known to gift $500,000 Rolls-Royce Phantoms to footballers, while Meghan got a pair of earrings worth $500,000. Not to be outdone, Lil Wayne received a $1 million Lamborghini and a $500,000 watch. Art? MBS holds the crown with his $450 million Salvator Mundi, an acquisition tied to geopolitical battles with Qatar. The world's most expensive painting? It's on his yacht. But Al Walid's collection of $200 million worth of art is no slouch either, with pieces like a $30 million Monet and Ottoman jewels worth $20 million. And then, the parties. MBS's 2015 Maldives Blowout? A $50 million extravaganza with 150 supermodels and performances by Pitbull, Shakira and Sia. His 2020 Neon Rave, complete with 500 drones and 1,000 guests. A mere $20 million. The excess never ends. At the helm is Salman, 88, frail since 2015, but still clinging to the throne. His reign followed Abdullah's, but it's MBS, the 39-year-old son, who truly drives the kingdom's agenda. He's been in control since 2015, starting as defense minister, becoming crown prince in 2017, and assuming the role of prime minister in 2022. Add to that his chairmanship of the Public Investment Fund, PIF, and he's the true face of Saudi power. The royal family is the machine that runs the show. MBS controls defense. Mohammed bin Abdulaziz handles finance. Abdulaziz bin Saud oversees the interior. Faisal bin Farhan takes care of foreign affairs. Abdulaziz bin Salman manages oil. And Fahd bin Abdul Rahman is in charge of health. Meanwhile, the Ulama, a force of 50,000 clerics, enforces the kingdom's version of Sharia law, carrying out 81 executions in a single day in 2022. Until 2016, the morality police made 1,000 arrests a year, and until 2019, women were still required to wear the abaya. There is no democracy here. Salman's Majlis al-Shura, a body of 150 appointed officials, advises the royal family, and the voices of tribal sheikhs and the ulama rarely dissent. MBS runs the show behind the scenes, dictating Salman's moves, even using an iPad to cue him during the 2016 G20 talks. On the world stage, Saudi Arabia is an energy titan, controlling 40% of global oil exports, generating an $80 billion per year revenue stream. The 1973 oil embargo catapulted prices by 400%, solidifying the kingdom's influence. Its military spending reaches $67.6 billion annually, investing heavily in F-15s, Typhoons, and Patriots. not to mention drones. MBS meets with global leaders like Putin to cut oil production, Xi sealing a $20 billion Silk Road deal, and Biden negotiating Aramco's $37 billion talks. His 2023 Iran pact brought peace to the Yemen war, opening up $10 billion in trade with China. But all that wealth comes with a dark side. Every year, $100 billion vanishes from state coffers. Royals hold a staggering $50 billion in Aramco shares off record. Leaked documents from 2015 exposed $1 billion worth of villas billed to the state. Then there's MBS's 2017 Ritz purge. 200 princes, businessmen, and officials were locked up, with $107 billion seized in the process. The purge claimed assets from figures like Miteb bin Abdullah, $1 billion, Walid bin Talal, freed after a $6 billion deal, and Bakr bin Laden, $5 billion. In Yemen, the war has cost $200 billion and claimed over 150,000 lives. MBS's Operation Decisive Storm saw 10,000 bombs dropped, with 500 civilian targets hit. Despite these atrocities, MBS has earned medals from his military campaigns. Power is the throne they sit on, and it is soaked red. Allegedly, of course. MBS is no idle prince. He's a reformer with a dark edge. In January 2015, he unveiled Vision 2030, a $500 billion plan to end Saudi Arabia's oil reliance by transforming its economy through tech, tourism, and job creation. Key moves include women driving in 2018, 50,000 licenses in weeks, and the Wheels of Change Gala, while cinemas and concerts became a new frontier. Black Panther debuted in 2018, and events like the MDL Beast Rave and Maldives Bash earned millions. His flagship project, NEOM, is a $1 trillion mega-city featuring 500-meter towers, solar power, and an AI hub. With MISC, MBS aims to foster 1,500 startups and 500,000 visitors to MISC Art. Women's roles in the workforce have grown from 15% in 2015 to 22% in 2023, with a target of 30% by 2025 to 2030. The 2034 World Cup is set to receive a $5 billion boost, but the gloss hides a dark edge. In Yemen, MBS's war has left 85,000 children dead and 400,000 suffering from cholera. Abductions like those of Saud bin Saif, Sultan bin Turki, and Turki bin Bandar, all silenced by the regime, raise further concerns. Khashoggi's 2018 murder brought accusations of MBS's involvement, despite his denials. Scandals also include the 2017 purge, where MBS ousted rivals, freezing billions in assets. His assassination fears spiked in 2023 amid talks with Israel, leading him to sleep armed. Despite all this, reforms continue, with 12,000 entertainment events held in 2023 and a 200% rise in women CEOs, though his reforms continue to cast a shadow over Saudi society. Saudi royals flaunt immense wealth, but also use it for global philanthropy. Since 2015, KS Relief has contributed heavily, with $11.18 billion to Yemen, 3,000 projects, 5 million fed, $5.5 billion to Palestine, 50 hospitals, 10,000 homes, and millions more across the globe. $178.3 million for Syrian refugees in Jordan, $88.7 million in Turkey for schools, and $95.7 million in Lebanon for clinics. They've rebuilt ports in Somalia, $177.3 million, and funded the Rohingya crisis in Bangladesh with $18.1 million. Further donations include $50 million for Sudan's flood relief and $50 million for Palestinian shelters. Al Walid's Philanthropies has committed $4 billion to global causes, including $50 million for Senegal co-ops, $30 million for Pakistani schools, and $20 million for Haiti's earthquake relief. Princess Lamia and Princess Adela also lead significant initiatives, with $100 million funding shelters for women in Yemen and $50 million for anti-trafficking efforts. The Miskay Foundation, spearheaded by MBS, has pledged $500 million for arts, innovation and education, including grants for 1,000 artists and investments in 1,500 startups. The Ehsan platform has delivered the $391 million in aid, supporting 4 million people, with $50 million for Turkey-Syria earthquake relief in 2023. MBS also provided $500 million in COVID aid globally, including ventilators to Italy and vaccines to Yemen. While critics compare $11 billion, $0.4 trillion wealth of the royal family, the lives touched by these initiatives, over 10 million, demonstrates that the philanthropic efforts are substantial. So what's the final verdict on the House of Saud? Are they the trillion-dollar architects of a desert dynasty, turning sand into gold and propelling a once-nomadic land into a global powerhouse? Or are they tainted titans, their legacy overshadowed by scandal, bloodshed and ambition? From Mohammed bin Saud's audacious 1744 pact, blending swords and sermons, to MBS's neon-lit vision of Neom and Vision 2030, this family has sculpted history with relentless force. They've survived Ottoman sieges, reclaimed power after exile, and harnessed oil to build a fortune surpassing entire empires. They've redefined luxury, yachts bigger than football fields, palaces rivaling Versailles, car collections that could fund nations, and wield power that shapes global markets and alliances with a flick of a wrist. But shadows loom. The disappearance of Jamal Khashoggi still echoes, a brutal reminder of their intolerance for dissent. Yemen's humanitarian catastrophe, with its staggering death toll and millions displaced, stains their military power. The abductions of rival princes, the Ritz-Carlton purge, and whispers of corruption draining billions. These aren't footnotes. They're chapters in a ruthless tale of power. Yet, even amid the darkness, there's brilliance. Women driving after decades of bans, cinemas lighting up Riyadh, youth empowered by Miskay, and billions in aid lifting nations from despair. It's a paradox, a dynasty that dazzles and destroys, uplifts and oppresses, all in one breath. Where do you stand? Are they visionary trailblazers shaping Saudi Arabia's future, or autocrats whose scandals eclipse their successes? Who's the richest royal in your eyes? King Salman with his $18 billion, Al-Walid's $16.2 billion empire, or MBS with his trillion-dollar dream? What wild twist stuck with you? The $450 million painting lost in the wind? The $50 million Maldives party? Or the brutal fate of Khashoggi? Maybe it's the scale. The $1.4 trillion fortune, the $1 trillion Neom dream, or the $11 billion charity against a backdrop of excess. Drop your hottest take in the comments. We want to hear it all. Who's your hero? Who's your villain? And why? Did this deep dive leave you awestruck, outraged, or both?